beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel if you're subscribed, and if not, welcome if you're new. Today we have got a Barnes & Noble book haul. So I went with some friends today, and Barnes & Noble happened to be one of our stops, and I knew I would be in trouble because I haven't been to Barnes & Noble in a long time. I live in a small town, and our closest one is about an hour away, so I take advantage whenever I do get to go to a Barnes & Noble. So without further ado, let's get straight into this haul. Okay, so first off, what we got is one that I have seen all over social media, all over Bookstagram, everywhere. I've seen so many raving reviews. I'm like, oh, this sounds so good. I've got to try. I gotta read it. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. He is a hunter. She is the one being hunted. He falls in love with her. It's like a forbidden romance. There's fantasy. It's just, let me just read you the back of this, okay? So Payden, our female protagonist, thief, ordinary, survivor. I've never been looked at like it's a privilege to be in my presence, an honor to hold my gaze, a gift to get a glimpse of me. Not until I met him. And then Kai, our male protagonist, prince, elite, enforcer. If I am to be her enemy, I want it to be because she loathes herself for wanting me. She is the very thing he has spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she has spent her whole life pretending to be. And fate ensured that they would find each other. It sounds so good. I've seen so many people raving about Kai, saying that he is the new Rhysand. If you've read the ACOTAR series, Rhysand is my beloved Rhysand, as I call him. I've seen a lot of people compare him to Rhysand, and he's one of their favorite book boyfriends of the year. So I am so excited to read this in 2025. This may be in my January TBR. I'm not sure, but who's getting it probably will be. I mean, and the cover is gorgeous. And I do believe this is going to be a series. I believe there's multiple books. So I'm so excited for this one. It sounds right up my alley. There's some royalty, a little bit of thievery in there, a little bit of fantasy, forbidden romance. I love a forbidden romance trope. Oh, and it sounds so good. So whenever I saw this, I almost missed it. It was on a little table off in the corner. I was getting ready. It's a 2-story Barnes & Noble. I was getting ready to walk over to the escalator to go down. And I saw this. I was like, okay, this is going in my basket. This is coming home with me. So very, very excited about this one. And I hope it lives up to his name because it sounds so good. So good. So we shall see if I fall in love with Kai like everyone else does. Okay. The next couple ones is duology, I believe. I don't know if there will be a third book in this series. I think it's just a duology. But correct me if I'm wrong. I have read the first one, have not read the second one yet. The second one I definitely want to. Actually have the physical copies of both books in the duology in paperback form on my shelves up here amongst these many books. I found Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust in Sprayed Edges hardcover, collector's edition. I was so excited to find these. I found them in separate places in the store, which I thought was odd. They weren't together. I found this one first, and I've read this one. This is the first one in the duology, and it is just the most perfect, cozy book you can imagine. Of course, I had to grab the sequel to it as well. Just because I was worried I wouldn't find it again. So I got the sequel, and they're just gorgeous, and I'm fingers crossed the sequel is just as good as the first. It's supposed to be another cozy one, high fantasy, except this one will be bookshop. So, very excited to see if any of the original characters will be in the sequel. Just really excited to see, and I'm super excited to have these on my shelves. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. I love them. Okay, next one we got. So I walked in the store and immediately was greeted with a giant shelf of sprayed edges. And I knew that I had to restrain myself. I had to restrain myself because those are my weakness. I love me a hardback book, and I love art, and the sprayed edges combines both with a book, and it's so good. Anyway, I had to restrain myself. I only got 3. Okay, well, to be fair, this was in a different part of the store, so it wasn't on the bookshelf I'm talking about. To be fair, I only got these 2 when I had tons of others to pick from, so gonna pat myself on the shoulder. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, okay. Next one also has very pretty sprayed edges. Oh, it's just really gorgeous. Almost like vines, like waves. Very pretty. I love the back of this book as well. Very gorgeous. So, I'd actually never heard of this book before, but the cover really drew me in, and I read the synopsis, and it just sounds really, really good. It's called Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. I haven't read any books by Frances White, I don't believe. But I mean, you open it up to the front of the page, and then you've got this whole map. And one thing about me is I love books set like on the sea, like pirates or ocean exploration, mainly pirates. But I love that book, and I feel like I don't get enough books set around the ocean, or like even books with like mer creatures or sirens. I feel like I don't find enough of those. So I was very excited to find this. And let me see. Oh, there's even, you can put from the library of, you can even put your name on there. That's cute. I didn't notice that when I picked it up. I just noticed that right now. But of course, there's also a map. Love me a good map. And here's more. How gorgeous is that? Oh. And then it does tell like of the different empires and kind of their sigils. And from what I gathered, each empire has a blessed. And the blessed are, I think, healers. They have special powers. They kind of save people. They're like the chosen ones kind of each province. And apparently they get on this, let me double check here. Yes, they get on board this boat here, this ship. And there are the 12 blesseds from the province. One of them is a real slacker. They describe him as a class clown. And he doesn't really want to take any of his duties seriously. And then all of a sudden people start getting killed, and it becomes like a murder mystery on the sea with like these like blessed people. They're starting to like get offed. And so it's kind of getting put up to him, be like, oh, I have to get myself together and figure out what's happening here. And so it says like, will he actually like take responsibility and come into his power, or, you know, will he just shrug it off, or, you know. So I thought this sounded really good. A magic system I haven't quite, I kind of feel like I've heard of something kind of like the chosen one from each province, but I don't know, like on the sea and a murder mystery and maybe a chance for a main character to have extreme character development, come into his own power. Yeah, I don't know. It's gorgeous, by the way, and it sounded so good. So even on the front, I mean, we have a ship, and then it says there will be magic. and there will be murder. So it just sounded so good. So I really, really look forward to reading this. Yeah, it just, the synopsis and all of that just grabbed me, and I'm like, this sounds like something I would love to read. So hopefully, the one of the reviews back here says Agatha Christie with glitter magic. So, an enchanting, bloody delight full of magic, laugh out loud humor, and so much murder. Okay. Okay. And then the other one says, a magical, murderous, romantic romp through a fantasy world as colorful as it is captivating. So, I mean, I think it sounds really good. So, also it's gorgeous. So, fingers crossed this one lives up to it. This next one I got, basically just for, like, decor. I collect a lot of classic books. I also wanting to get to reading more of the classic books that I collect. But I found this version of Emma and by Jane Austen, and I just thought it was so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see there's textured here. It's just so gorgeous. It's gold. It has a bookmark with it. I have an entire book of Jane Austen's most popular novels. I have Emma on my shelves. It's down here where you can't see. But I absolutely fell in love with this cover and the color scheme of it. So this was a Christmas gift to myself. Not one. I doubt I will read or annotate this because, well, one, the text is extremely small, and that's not really my cup of tea, but I do think it's just gorgeous. And so this will probably just be like a very pretty book to have on my shelf, or like a coffee table book or something, but this was a little Christmas gift from me to me. So there's that one. Okay, I think we have 3 left. Let's see here. I'll do this one next. Okay, I had never heard of this one, and I saw a little kind of blurb on the bookshelf that one of the Barnes & Noble employees wrote. And it said, basically this main character, Jade, I believe. Yes. Jade, she is obsessed with slasher movies, horror movies. She knows all the classic ones, all the in and outs, all the plot twists. She's obsessed with it. But the blurb said, what will happen if a slasher movie becomes real life in her town? Will she survive? Will she know how to survive it? So I thought that sounded super interesting. So I got this one. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Again, I have not read any books of his, I don't believe, but I need to read the synopsis to you because this just sounds so interesting to me. So, you won't find a more hardcore 80s horror fan than high school senior Jade Daniels. And you won't find a place less supportive of girls who wear torn t-shirts and too much eyeliner than Proof Rock. Nestled 8,000 feet up the mountain in Idaho, right alongside Indian Lake, home to both Camp Blood, site of a massacre 50 years ago, and, as of this summer, Terra Nova, a second-home celebrity Camelot being carved out of the National Forest. That's not the only thing that's getting carved up, though. This, Jade knows, is the start of a slasher. But what kind? Who's wearing the mask? Jade's got an encyclopedic recall of every horror movie on the shelf, but will that help her survive? Can she get a final girl trained enough to stop all of this from happening? Does she even want to? Isn't a slasher exactly what her hometown deserves? This novel explores the changing landscape of the West through Stephen Graham Jones' distinct voice of sharp humor and prophetic violence. I don't know, I thought it just sounds so interesting. Her being obsessed with slasher films, horror films, which I'm a big fan of myself. I wouldn't say die hard, but I do enjoy a good horror film from time to time. And just having it come to life and see if she can like survive it, how that works around in her small town. So I don't know, it sounded very interesting. So also the cover is pretty interesting as well. So I don't know, I thought I'd give this one a try. It sounded really interesting. So whatever Barnes & Noble employee wrote that little blurb, you got me with that one. You sold me on this one. It sounded very good. Okay, last two are kind of similar, but kind of not. It is both kind of like Victorian royalty, kind of think Bridgerton, going out into a society where you're expected to date, you're expected to get married, and there's like high society and money involved, and some of them just kind of just don't want to do it, and they're not into it. They'd rather do anything else. That's kind of, I think, Bridgerton vibes with both of these books that I got. First one I got was Filthy Rich Vampire. I love me a vampire book. That is just one supernatural being that in movies, shows, books, I love me a vampire. So I got that. Basically, he is one of the world's most wealthiest vampires. The social season is about to begin. He does not want to go on the marriage market at all. He's one of the most eligible ones. And basically, he meets her at a gala. Let me see here. She's super kind. She's human. Don't think they'll work. And so he's like, hey, pretend to be my lover. So we have a fake dating trope. I love me a fake dating trope. So for 1 year, they will fake date and attend all the events so they can get out of it. But I assume drama happens. They fall in love. I assume they should. If not, that's a waste. But it sounds really good. I love that trope. I love the fake dating. I love reading about the high society. I'm a big fan of Bridgerton. The show on Netflix, I have not read the novel or the series, but plus vampires. It sounds really good. It also kind of sounds like Grumpy Sunshine a little bit, or just he is really morally dark and she's just really pure and sweet. So interesting dynamics there. So I am excited, very excited about this one. So I think this will be a good one. And last one, I saw this. It's a pretty thin book. A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. So basically, she is in high society, but she's really needing some money. So she goes into the marriage market, and there is a guy in the market who she's kind of interested in. He notices her. He knows that she's not there for the right reasons, not there to find love, just in there to get money, get her fortune, and he's doing everything in his power to wreck that for her. And then it says, he's determined to thwart her plans at all costs until their pairing takes a completely different turn. So I assume an enemies to lovers kind of situation. And then it looks like it's kind of set like in the Bridgerton era. You can see by like the clothing and stuff. So apparently I went very Bridgerton kind of high society theme for that today. So yeah, that is my book haul. Let me see if I can get them all together here. I don't think I can get it all. This is my book haul from today. Very excited about it. Very high hopes for it. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you want to read any of them. And yeah, and as always, be kind to yourself today. Bye-bye.